My neighbor, 42M, refuses to apologize after damaging my garden while mowing his lawn. Hello, I'm 30F Durai. I live with my husband in a small house on a corner plot. Our yard is not very big, but it's ours and we take pride in our gardening. My husband has a green thumb, so our garden is pretty impressive for its size. We have flowers of all colors, herbs, vegetables, and even some fruit trees. I've spent hours designing and planting that garden, and it brings me joy every time I look at it. The problem started when our new neighbors moved in next door. They're an older couple, retired from their jobs, and they seem like nice people, but they have no idea how to care for a garden. I first noticed this when they tried to grow tomatoes using a trellis system and accidentally pruned most of the plant before it had a chance to produce any fruit. Then there was the time they tried to use weed killer on what they thought were weeds, but ended up killing part of our own garden too. But the worst incident happened yesterday. They were mowing their lawn with one of those ride-on mowers that can go quite fast, especially if you don't know what you're doing. While mowing, they got too close to the fence that separates our yards and damaged several of our plants. I saw them and yelled for them to stop, but they didn't listen. When my husband heard about it, he went over to talk to them, but they just laughed it off and told him that they weren't going to pay for anything. He tried to explain how much work goes into creating a beautiful garden, but they just wouldn't listen. This morning I woke up early to see if everything was okay and found out that they actually cut down one of my favorite bushes. I confronted them, and they told me that it was none of my business and that they would do whatever they wanted on their own property. At this point, I'm getting really angry. How could they possibly think that cutting down a bush is acceptable? Especially since it's right along the fence. I asked them to apologize, but they said they didn't need to because it wasn't their fault. I called my husband to come outside and help mediate the situation, but by the time he arrived, they'd already gone inside and locked the doors. Now my husband is threatening to sue them for damages and destruction of property, but I think we should wait until they apologize. I feel like if they apologize sincerely, then they'll realize what they did wrong and try to make things right. But without an apology, I don't think they'll ever learn their lesson. So what do you guys think? Update. I wrote this post last night and it was posted shortly after midnight. Since then, I've received many comments and messages asking for updates. So here's what happened today. After posting, I showed the post to my husband and told him about the suggestions. He agreed to give them a chance to apologize, and if they don't, he'll start looking into legal options. I sent them a message saying that we're willing to forgive them if they apologize sincerely. Well, they responded by telling us to get lost. At that point, I knew we'd never hear another word from them again, and I'm glad we decided to stand firm against them. Now, I know that some people are saying that I'm being petty and should let it go. But honestly, I feel like they've made it clear where they stand. If someone is unwilling to admit their mistakes or apologize, why should I waste my time trying to reason with them? I'm glad I posted this, and I hope it serves as a reminder to everyone else who thinks they can damage someone else's property and get away with it.